Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, and this is No Willpower Required. Let's start today with a little mental exercise. Picture this. It's Friday night, you've had a long week, and you pour a glass of wine. Or maybe you crack open a cold beer. In your mind, where does that alcohol actually go? Most of us have a pretty standard mental map for this, right? It goes down, sits in the stomach, and then boom, it's the liver's problem. Or we just think about the brain, the buzz, the relaxation. We think about the feeling, or we think about the detox. But it turns out there is a massive piece of this puzzle that we almost completely ignore. And honestly, it might be the most critical part of the whole equation. Before that drink ever hits your liver, it lands in what scientists are now calling a sprawling, bustling metropolis inside you. We're talking about your gut. And here's the thing that really stopped me in my tracks when I was looking at the research. When you talk about alcohol damage, we usually think in terms of decades, years of hard drinking. But the data is saying something totally different. It says the biology of your gut starts to shift, not in weeks, not even in days, it starts shifting in hours. That's the headline. A fundamental change in your internal ecosystem happens the same night you're out having fun. A single night, even just a couple of drinks, and the trillions of little roommates living in your digestive tract are already reacting. So today isn't about lecturing you. We're not here to tell you to put down the glass. We are here to understand the machinery, because we've all had that specific morning after feeling. And I don't just mean the headache. I mean that sluggish, foggy, why is the world so gray kind of feeling, that boff feeling. We're going to uncover why that happens. And spoiler alert, it's not just dehydration. It's about the bacteria that control your mood and your energy. And more importantly, how to fix it. So let's set the stage. We need to understand who these roommates are, because for a lot of people, gut health just means, do I have a stomach ache? It's so much more than that. Picture your gut not as plumbing, but as a house. And in this house, you have trillions of roommates. This is your microbiome. When you're healthy, these are great roommates. They keep the vibe really chill. And science isn't just giving this a cute nickname. It's being called the second brain for a reason. Your gut communicates directly with your nervous system. Think of it like a direct cable running from your stomach straight to your head. When your microbiome is happy, it regulates your mood stability. It manages your immune function, controls inflammation. It basically runs the show. But then alcohol enters the chat. And alcohol is like that one friend who crashes the party and starts breaking furniture immediately. See, it doesn't just pass through. It interacts directly with your gut lining and with those bacteria. So what's happening on a microscopic level? Let's break it down into two main mechanisms. Mechanism number one is what we call the shift. Or, if you want the technical term, it's dysbiosis. No, it's not pleasant. Imagine your gut bacteria as two opposing teams. Team A is the beneficial stuff. Things like Lactobacillus and Bifidobacteria. You've seen the names on the yogurt cups. These are the guys keeping you healthy, keeping inflammation down. Then you get Team B, the inflammatory strains, the permeable makers. In a healthy person, Team A is winning. He controlled the territory. But alcohol acts like a crooked referee. The research shows it actively reduces the population of Team A. It wipes out the good guys. At the same time, it rolls out the red carpet for the inflammatory strains. So it's a double whammy. You're killing the peacekeepers and arming the rioters. And again, this isn't a slow process. You have a few drinks, and that's what sets up the next day's misery, the fatigue, the bloating. That's your ecosystem screaming that the balance of power has shifted. Team B is now running the house. Okay, so that's mechanism one. But there's a second one, and this one's a little darker. This is mechanism two. Leaky gut. I know you hear this term thrown around a lot, but the biology here is terrifyingly simple. Your gut have a lining. It's an incredibly sophisticated barrier. Think of it like a bouncer in a club. Its job is to let the good stuff in, nutrients, water, and keep the bad stuff out. Toxins, pathogens. It's a tight filter. But alcohol is a master at distracting the bouncer. It irritates that intestinal lining. It causes inflammation. And this increases what we call intestinal permeability, which is just a fancy way of saying the walls literally get cracks in them. And since Team B, the bad bacteria, are now throwing a party, they're producing all these toxins. And because the barrier is breached, those toxins leak out of the gut and into your bloodstream. Now, pause on that for a second. That sounds incredibly bad. It is. This is the moment a stomach issue becomes a whole body issue. Your immune system senses these toxins in the blood and it goes, whoa, we are under attack. And it triggers a massive immune response, systemic inflammation. So you wake up after a heavy night and you feel like you've been hit by a truck. That's not just the tequila. That is your immune system fighting a war because your gut barrier failed. The brain fog, the anxiety, it's a systemic reaction. And this connects so perfectly to the mood piece, because I don't think people realize that anxiety is biological. It's not just in your head. And this brings us back to the second brain. Here's a stat that usually floors people. Your gut produces around 90% of your body's serotonin. 90%. Serotonin is your feel-good neurotransmitter. It regulates mood, happiness, well-being, and most of it is manufactured right there in your gut. So let's do the math. You drink, you cause dysbiosis, so you kill workers. Then you cause leaky gut, so you break the factory. The result is the crash. You disrupt the bacteria responsible for your serotonin. So the next day, you aren't just hungover, you are chemically depleted of happiness. I explained so much, right? That random irritability, or that emotional flatness where nothing sounds fun. We blame it on being tired, but biologically, you're experiencing a serotonin dip. I actually find that really comforting. Maybe you will too, because it separates the feeling from you. Next time you feel that way, you can just say, okay, my life isn't falling apart. My serotonin factory is just offline for repairs. It's not a character flaw. It's biology. Speaking of biology, we have to talk about the munchies, the cravings. You wake up and you don't want a salad. You want grease. You want carbs. Why does your body want garbage when it already feels like garbage? Well, part of it is blood sugar, sure, but there is another layer here. It's called microbial signaling. Remember Team B, the bad roommates? Well, they get hungry too, and they don't eat kale. They thrive on sugar and processed carbs. And these microbes are clever. They can actually influence your hunger hormones. They send signals up to your brain that effectively say, send down a cheeseburger. So when you're ordering enough takeout for 3 people, you have to wonder, is that you making that decision? Or is it your gut bugs placing the order? It's almost like being possessed by microscopic junk food junkies. Okay, so we've painted a pretty grim picture. Dysbiosis, leaky gut, mind control. But here's the really good news. Your body is incredibly resilient. The gut is one of the fastest healing organs, so you can bounce back. While these shifts happen fast, the recovery can also happen pretty quickly if you give the system a break. If you drink occasionally, you create a temporary disruption. Team A repopulates. The lining seals up. The serotonin factory goes back online. The trap is frequency. If you're drinking so often that the system never gets that downtime, that's when the temporary disruption becomes a permanent state of inflammation. So the name of the game isn't perfection. It's allowing for recovery time. So how do we do that? How do we support that recovery? First, look at your diet, before and after. You need to send reinforcements to Team A. That means fiber, vegetables, legumes, berries. Fiber is what the good bacteria eat. Also, fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, kimchi. You are literally restocking the shelves. And a big rule, avoid drinking on an empty stomach. Food buffers, that direct hit on the intestinal lining. It protects the bouncer. Now, you might be wondering about supplements. You see them in recovery drinks like Daily Restore, but are they legit? There are 2 ingredients with some solid science behind them. The first one is milk thistle. It's classic liver support. And when the liver works better, it reduces systemic inflammation, which takes pressure off the gut. It helps take out the trash. The second one is N-acetyl L-cysteine. We just call it NAC. To understand NAC, you have to understand glutathione. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. It cleans up oxidative stress. Think of it like rust in your cells. Alcohol causes a lot of rust. It burns through your glutathione reserves. NAC is a precursor to glutathione, but your body uses it to make more. So by taking NAC, you're restocking the ammunition your body needs to fight that damage. It's not magic, but it helps with the biochemical cleanup operation. So let's wrap this up. We started by asking where alcohol goes, and we found out it's an ecosystem issue. It shifts your internal geography within hours, but awareness changes the game. You don't have to be perfect, but understanding what's happening is half the battle. The next time you wake up after a night out and you feel that heavy cloud over your head, or you feel that spike of anxiety or that craving for sugar, I want you to just pause. Don't spiral. Don't blame your personality. Just realize, okay, my roommates are trashing the house right now. My serotonin factory is offline. This isn't me. This is my microbiome talking. And that's the takeaway. Take a breath, drink some water, eat some fiber, give your body the time it needs to reset. Because understanding why you feel the way you feel, that is the first step to feeling better. Thanks for tuning in. Take care of your gut, and we'll catch you next time. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.